understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 2 new episodes this week. I enjoyed the break, Ed. How about you?
Yes, I did. We're in March. Can you believe it's March?
No, shut your mouth. I reject it in its entirety. Listen, my sabbatical is going way too fast. I do not like this. I need time to slow down because I have all this stuff I want to get done. I just need everybody to chill.
Okay.
Everybody needs to slow it down. But yeah, it's March. Is it warmer where you are?
No, it snowed this morning.
Okay, awesome. Screw you, March.
Well, in like a lion. So yeah. That's been going on. The Oscars were last week. I think we can all move past that.
Oh yes, hard. I lost my Oscar party pick competition by 1. Every time a Black Panther won when I didn't predict it, I was excited. Every time Green Book won when I didn't predict it, I was less excited. So that was my Oscar experience. How about you?
Yeah. I enjoyed a nice spread. Had some cheese and crackers. I tweeted out I had honey mustard pretzels from Snyder's of Hanover and carrot cake Oreos. Have you had these, Sara?
Oh, those sound horrible, but I don't like carrot cake. How were they? If you like carrot cake.
The cinnamon really brought it together, and the cream cheese filling was to die for. I think those carrot cake Oreos might be my favorite Oreos now.
Huh. Cream cheese icing is the work of the devil, so.
Okay.
This is why I have a complicated relationship with red velvet. I like red velvet, but it's really hard to find with real icing and not that abomination. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Come for the hot takes, folks.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, if everyone's wondering what I thought about the ceremony, I was disappointed. Green Book is a safe choice. It's not a bad movie, but it's the safe choice. Ampas has no balls.
I agree. It was the safe choice, and for me, it was a disappointing choice. I thought it was a movie with some flaws in the framing of its narration, but the acting was Mahershala Ali was great with what he was given to work with. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. That's enough of that.
Hey, happy Captain Marvel week. I know it's a DC podcast. I don't care.
Yeah, no. That's okay. It's Captain Marvel, that was, something that they stole that copyright in the early 60s. But that's in the late 60s. That's fine. I'm happy it's a Marvel movie. We actually, speaking of Captain Marvel, we did get a fun email from our buddy Dan, who pointed me out to this news that Captain Marvel is going to be coming to DC Universe. Are you aware of this, Sara?
No.
Okay,
tell me more.
So, Captain Marvel is there are 2 Captain Marvels. There's the Captain Marvel in the Marvel movie that's coming out, and then there's the Captain Marvel that DC owns that they have to publish under the title Shazam due to copyright reasons. But
and I'm sorry, which one came first?
The DC's Captain Marvel was published under Fawcett Comics. It's a long legal battle that DC ended up with them. But anyway, there was a Saturday morning live action series of Shazam in the mid 70s. Sarah, have you seen any clips from this?
I have not. Am I missing out?
Oh no. 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 I own it on DVD, and to tell you the quality of this was produced by Filmation, which was an animation studio, popular in the 70s and 80s. They later did G.I. Joe, but they were mostly known for being on the cheap animation side, where like I think they did like 6 frames per second, really low grade animation. And to see what they do for a live action show with that same budgetary restrictions, oh man. However, it was Shazam, so of course I own it, and I have seen some of them as much as I can tolerate it. But it's coming to DC Universe, and it's going to be seen for the first time in glorious HD, which I am amazed because I did not think that was possible. And if I thought the costumes and props looked like cardboard stuck together with chewing gum in standard definition, I can't wait to see how flimsy that stuff looks in HD.
Okay, so our scientists got so caught up in whether they could. Did they not stop to think about whether they should?
I don't know. But it's there. I'm sure we will do a retro pick of it. I did an infamous retro pick of this back before we were a regular show, when DC TV Report was a segment on the Wicked Theory podcast. And I made my thoughts known then. But I can't wait, Sarah, for you to join in and have your own Shazam experience.
Oh, Lord.
We'll have to wait for a week where we're doing one or none regular episodes. So,
are we going to have any such week? Because I think the CW is pretty much full bore at this point after this, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know, and not for a while, not until at least the summer. And even then, depending on when like Krypton or Preacher come back, who knows?
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's something. It's something. And one other quick piece of business I have here, looking through the tweets to the DC TV Report account, there's one from this past Sunday that I have no context for, and I'm hoping, Sarah, you can enlighten. This is from Bowerfett, and he tweets, Love at First Glance was the Hallmark movie with Adrian Grenier.
We were.
Do you have any idea what that's about?
Chances are real good I was talking about a Hallmark movie at some point, and I cannot remember what the context was, and I feel bad because I do remember that exchange, and I don't know. I'm sure I was asking for some DC person to be put in some Hallmark movie, and that's how that came to be. I have no doubt.
Okay. Have you seen Love at First Glance?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Okay.
But I'll have to look it up.
All right.
Okay. I'm useless. I'm sorry. It's been a long week.
All right. All right, cool. So are you ready to dive into the episodes for this week?
Absolutely.
All right, there's only 2 of them. So we'll start it off with Gotham. Season 5, Episode 8. Legend of the Dark Knight. Nothing's shocking. Someone with shape-shifting abilities was killing old cops involved in a murder case that Harvey worked as a rookie. Alfred and Bruce searched toxic Gotham sewers looking for a missing husband. Oswald and Ed were held up by Mr. Penn and his new boss, a ventriloquist dummy named Mr. Scarface. Last-minute reveal, Harvey confessed to Jim that he had forced young Jane to confess against her mother.
You know what? I'm glad they gave us a Harvey episode in this final stretch of episodes.
Yes, I think so too. And it was, this was a heartfelt episode. This was this is heavy. This was heavy.
I'm sorry. This had puppets and masks in a way that was not okay.
No. No. And they are really like piling on. These are all the villains that we wanted to squeeze into this show before it was over. Because the ventriloquist, there's a lot of things that you could do with the ventriloquist. And we got to see him for one episode, and I probably won't see him again. But yeah. Okay, but there was that. We got to see Scarface. We actually got to see Mr. Scarface. I think. Yeah. I think this is sounding like this is much cooler for me than it is for you, Sarah, huh?
I would say probably we enjoyed different aspects of this week. Yes. How was that for tactful?
There we go. I will have to show you some of the animated series episodes with the ventriloquist, and I think.
Well, I did see some stills when under the Gotham hashtag. I saw some animated series things, and I was like, "Oh, Ed's gonna pick an episode that's gonna showcase this in the future." I just know it, which is cool. I was surprised to see Dan Hedaya. I always enjoy seeing him on my screen. That was fun. Okay, well, here's where I alienate you now, because I'm going to talk about Game of Thrones. Buckle up. But This felt like viral marketing for Game of Thrones with the skin masks. And like that, she literally says, like, a girl has no name. I'm no one. That's all straight from the Arya storyline of Game of Thrones. So I enjoyed that. Whether that sprung from the comics or whether that was kind of an homage or inspired by, I don't know how much of that was true to the origin story for that character, but it was creepy here as well. Real creepy. Yeah.
Jane Doe is another Batman villain, and she's one of the scarier ones. Yeah, and this was really, really hard. And it's what's funny is it's one of those situations where, like, when she takes off that mask, I feel like that she's going to look fine. Before that happens.
I thought it was one of the most horrifying parts of the episode was her being like, "Look what you did to me," and taking it off. And it's like, no, baby girl, you're fine. Oh God.
Yeah.
You're not fine at all.
No.
It was a little weird to have more of a straightforward police story, which I realized nothing about this was straightforward, but we've been doing so many apocalyptic, whatever we can to survive type Gotham stories. To be like, oh, here's an old case that Harvey worked on that we're going to have to revisit, was just a little bread and butter procedural. It was kind of nice to have a little bit different change of pace and just do police work rather than like there's a gang of painted carnies terrorizing a gang of steampunk miners.
Yeah. You could tell like this episode was probably written for last season, or they never expected to tell this story during No Man's Land. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, it worked. I thought it worked well. What I don't think worked as well was Bruce and Alfred running into the mutants in the sewers. That
didn't even register with me this week. That was the least important, least interesting part as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it felt like, okay, we need to have Bruce and Alfred in this episode, and they don't really fit in with the main story, so they just threw them down on this wild goose chase. And yeah. So, I mean, there was kind of a sentimental moment with Alfred, where he kind of like opens up about, blaming himself for Wayne Manor, but I think there definitely were other ways you could have achieved that moment.
Yeah, I agree. That felt like a little bit of a wasted opportunity, or else wasted time in an episode that could have been spent with other characters, since we are kind of back to we're only showing certain characters per episode situation. Speaking of that, I thought Babs super showing her baby bump in that tiny sequin dress was baller. That was amazing. Covering the bodies with a nice satin sheet. She's like, yeah, that's fine. I put my satin sheets on top of the bodies in my club. That's what I do. I thought Ed was terrific this week. When Penn shows up with the puppet and Ed just says, "Wonderful." Yes. And then just shooting him. He's like, "Nah, look, you couldn't. No, we can't let this go on." So I did what I had to do. I am super team Ed this week and kind of this season. Ed. I'm making a heart shape with my hands. None of you can see it, not even Ed, but I am.
Oh, thank you for confusing everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm always Team Ed O'Hare. I'm Team Ed Nigma, heart shape with my hands, even though Ed O'Hare can't see it. Too many Eds.
Yes, yeah.
Too many Eds in this kitchen.
Yeah. This is why I always get confused listening to Gotham Lights, because when they talk about Ed, sometimes I think they're talking about me.
Do you pretend they're talking about you?
No.
Yeah, I am smart and funny. I am building a submarine in my spare time.
No, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't appreciate when they call me sick and twisted.
And that's when they're talking about you, Ed O'Hare.
Yes. So the Riddler. Yes, I agree. The Riddler was a lot of fun this week. And basically had the best way of like, let's just stop these shenanigans. I'm gonna shoot the doll, and then I'm gonna shoot the guy. This is over.
He handled it. It was great.
Yes, yeah. Now, real quick, going back to Babs, because there was kind of another thing going on where like Jim has this serious conversation with Babs saying like, you should think about what's going to happen after the reunification. And then she kind of like turns around on her and like, am I going to go to jail? Like, is that how you're going to end up with this baby? And who's naive in that conversation?
Both. Honestly, both. It's interesting. I mean, is this how the show gets her to walk the straight and is this the redemption arc for her? Is she actually going to behave? And that's how we have a parent for little Barbara? I don't know. But Jim, honestly, Jim.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I will still say I've kind of been, it's funny, I've kind of had this feeling like since she went crazy in season 1 that she'll probably like have the babies. I'm thinking she's pregnant with twins. But it might just be Barbara. I don't know. But she will deliver the baby, and it will seem like she's going to go the straight and narrow. And then either she's going to be forced to run away or she's going to get killed. And either way, Jim will raise those kids with a guilty conscience.
Okay. I don't want Babs to die, but that actually tracks.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think that endeth what I had to talk about with Gotham. How about you?
Yeah. Do we have any news for Gotham?
Just a tiny little bit that this week's episode is written by Ben McKenzie, aka Jim Gordon, and directed by Aaron Richards, aka Babs. And it is we saw in the previously something happens to Jim, but it looks like it's going to have a lot of Batcat, so it's going to have a lot of Bruce and Selena back and forth, possibly some angst, some young lover angst. So let's do it.
All right. Cool. I'm up for that. You ready for our next episode?
Absolutely.
All right. It's the only other one this week, and it is Doom Patrol. Season 1, Episode 3, Puppet Patrol. Our heroes packed into the bus and took a road trip to Paraguay looking for the chief. Larry thought back on his old life as a closeted test pilot and yearned to gain control of the negative man inside him. Vic had an argument with his dad and took some of his personal frustrations out on Rita. Cliff found a phone number for his daughter. Last minute reveal, Steve crawled out of Von Fuchs' lab with his new powers as Animal Vegetable Mineral Man.
I am so glad I had seen an article referencing Animal Vegetable Mineral Man prior to watching, because I would have been real confused otherwise.
I swear to...
I'm still kind of confused.
I swear to God, that's a real character. I promise you.
What?
It was this very, very short pocket of time in the early 60s where that was a thing.
When the drugs were copious.
Yes. It was just as they were getting out there. It was like this was before the hippie era, but like kind of like after the 50s nuclear families, when like we were looking for weird stuff, and the only way to mash things up was to literally just have one person who's, you know, each of their arms and legs was something different. You know, there's a deep.
I just feel like the mineral leg feels like a real weakness. Like you'd be able to shatter that really easily. That feels like an Achilles heel.
Well, it can reform into anything. You know.
Oh well, I have not seen the limits of his powers, so I look forward to exploring that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing is like it can turn into any animal. He can turn those body parts into any animal, vegetable, or mineral.
Ooh, huh. Can he feed himself? Like, could he turn his fingers into carrots, harvest them? That's, you know what? I'm sorry I asked. I don't want to know. It just seems like self-sustaining would be really handy, is all.
Yeah. Now, to kind of point the conversation a little bit more, we do have a tweet on Doom Patrol from your buddy at Tanya Mel, who points out, "Give me a big Matt Bomer smile once a week, and I will watch your show once a week until the end of the universe."
Actually, she was quoting me, my friend.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right.
I said that last week. Yeah, she was agreeing.
She was quoting you on the DC TV report, speaking for us all.
Yeah. And we got a lot of that this week. We got pleasing amounts of Matt Bomer. Conflicted Matt Bomer.
Yes. Yeah. He was, I mean, that was a big part. I was worried that like these guys, and you didn't get that much Brendan Fraser, but you got a lot of Matt Bomer in this episode.
You did. And I have two thoughts. Number one, if he really wanted to commit, he would have removed his eyelashes for the burn scenes. There's no way those things survived. So, first of all. But I appreciate the metaphor of Larry's hitchhiker kind of being a metaphor for being a gay man in the 60s. You know, you can't control this thing inside of you. And you're sort of helpless to, that's who you are and it's what you do. And it's kind of cool to see that repeated with the hitchhiker. And that metaphor really worked for me this week. They really played it up and I enjoyed all of it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
It's like, good for you. A+ on your lit analysis paper.
No, I agree. I think that, you know, Larry's story is tragic, and it's the kind of person, you know, where you see that he was kind of trapped both in his old life and in his current life.
Mm-hmm. And then John didn't quit so he could stay by his side, and he tells him to leave. And my notes are literally just full of crying emoji, like the words, just crying emoji over and over, because that was sad. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Larry and whatever that being inside him to actually have like a real confrontation. And it seemed like we were really close to getting that, but I think there's a reason that thing is staying with him that they just have not wanted to talk about for 60 years.
And if it takes a couple more episodes of build up to get to that, I think that'll make it even better. So I am fine. I'm fine continuing this a little bit until we really do have that "you ruined my life" explosion. So
yeah. I mean, and you know, speaking, because it seems like the whole theme of this entire show is damaged people, and their baggage, and the storyline with Vic and Rita. I thought it was interesting because you got to see Vic kind of, you know, understand and acknowledge that, you know, he's kind of just as screwed up as you know, everyone else at the manor, and Rita's kind of there to kind of be like, hey, you know, it's okay, you know, we can deal with this together. And you know, he kind of felt like he was having to prop her up, and it turns out it's the other way around.
As Von Fuchs said, We're not so different, you and I. I think that may have been the theme this week.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Von Fuchs. Oh.
Ed, have you booked your procedure at Fuktopia yet?
Yeah. No. I didn't need to read the brochure. I could kind of tell something was up.
I love it. This was not in the brochure. No, you don't lead with Nazis. You don't. That's not on the first page of your pamphlet.
First off, anytime you see white people with Eastern European accents in South America, I mean that's the only conclusion you can come to, right? Like
I will admit I was slow to come to that. Fuktopia. Oh, I didn't expect like a Bavarian Alp in Paraguay. That's interesting. And then we get to the medical experiments, and I was like, oh, he retired here for his health after the war. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the astonishing thing is that he was able to get all of those other young German people to emigrate to Paraguay so that he could mind control them. I think that was astonishing.
Are you questioning Von Fuchs's mesmerizing abilities?
I'm just saying he must have a great recruiter. And that also led to one of the goriest fight scenes like Cliff and Crazy Jane each separately taking on, and like Cliff was brutal.
Cliff's a murder machine. Yikes.
Yeah, like even you can even see he was just as scared of himself after he realized what he'd done.
Yeah, I like that. Cliff, as you said, we didn't get quite as much of him this week, but what we got was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So that keeps kind of building a little bit on that. I'm guessing we're going to get a big Cliff episode. I mean, we had the pilot was kind of a big Cliff episode, but with the daughter's phone number, I suspect we'll be following Cliff on a walkabout pretty soon, don't you?
Yeah. It looked like he was trying to toss it away, but I hope he picked it up or someone else picked it up. That he deserves that kind of some kind of closure.
I also felt very bad for him because he could not feel how soft that kitty was. That's tragic.
Yeah.
Let's see. I do love that Jane is the big eagle from the Lord of the Rings. Like, you could have zapped us here. Just like, we could have ridden these eagles this whole time. Gandalf. So, that was funny.
Yeah. And Jane, we're kind of really learning, like, it was funny looking back and understanding, like, how her powers are limited. I thought, like, when Von Fuchs kind of calls her on and says, I'm betting Jane is not the actual person whose corporeal body you're inhabiting. Like, Jane is a personality. She's not the real person.
Do you that I look forward to exploring that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's true. And I like is it Katie? Is it someone else? Like what's going on there? What's the real story there? Like,
which is the personality who throws silver words? Because I like that one.
Oh, I don't remember her name. But yeah. These are the kinds of things, like, I need a spreadsheet. Because you have so many other things that are other names that are cool, like the Hangman's Daughter and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, wow, yeah.
And I continue to be impressed by Rita's diction. I love how she delivers her lines.
Yes, yeah. Oh, she took elocution lessons clearly before Hollywood.
She took her craft seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That one moment with her in the bathroom, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was. I agree. And she didn't get a lot of compassion from her traveling companions, which I get. I mean, I get it, but she's tragic.
Yeah. I mean, this was a great episode. Still a lot of questions, that we're hoping resolved. My mother has gotten into the show, and she hasn't seen this episode yet, but I know she will be disappointed the lack of Timothy Dalton in this episode.
Every week is she disappointed when T. Dalt doesn't turn up?
I mean, he's clearly the reason she's watching. But she's still enjoying it, and it is weird. It is weird when last week when the donkey coughed up the town. She was not expecting that.
Oh, I'm still not over that. Tell Mama O'Hare I'm with her.
All right, so that's Doom Patrol. Was there any news?
There was not, but we have news about the other DC Universe shows, so we can.
All right, let's kick that off.
But we're going to start with the CW because that's what we do.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Let's see. A couple of episode highlights that we're going to see coming up, starting with Supergirl. The March 17th episode is titled, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" And I think most astute observers will guess correctly that this is where we'll see the introduction of one Lex Luthor.
Ooh, Lex Luthor as played by John Cryer.
And turning up on the Ides of March. So that doesn't bode well.
Beware the Ides of March. Do you have to read that play for...
I told him, Julie, don't go. I said, beware the Ides of March already, but did he listen to his wife? No. That is from my brother's high school HDA humorous duet competition piece called... I can't even remember what. I will text him right now, and he will text me back while we are still recording.
Was it Wipe the Bloodstain Off My Toga?
Yes! Yes! Thank you. Thank you for being my fellow speech geek and understanding this. Yes. So.
Yes. Oh,
yeah, maybe that was his HI. Whatever. Anyway, yes, that's... Do you want me to move on to Arrow? Do you want me to just push past this?
That was great.
Friends, Romans, country, lend me your ears. What's in the bag? Ears! Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The fact that this resides in my brain, I don't want to tell you how many literal decades later, is a real problem.
Hey, a kid from New Jersey won high school nationals with that my junior year.
It makes me wonder if that's roughly the same time period. I bet that was going through a wave of popularity around then. So.
Would have been 2005?
Okay, he would have been... Oh, he probably would have been 98, 99 that he was doing that.
Okay.
Still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Arrow.
Moving on.
Arrow. The Star City 2040 is the episode airing on March 18th. And this is going to be the all flash forward episode that has been promised and foretold. And it's going to flash back to share highlights from Maya's childhood with Felicity. So we're going to have a flash forward that flashes back, but still into the future. So start your complicated, highlighted by color timeline tracking now.
I look forward to the angry tweets of people upset at how poor a mother Felicity might be. She's just going to be an angry mom, and people are going to be like, she's not like that. She'd be a great mother. And I look forward to this.
Or people are going to be like, oh, she's garbage. She's the worst. I don't want any of it. Well, and I mean, my feelings on the future are well documented on this show, in that it's all terrible and depressing, and I just want them to be happy.
Well, actually, quick tweet from Aunt Betty Taylor. I think this future is based on Oliver dying in the crossover. I don't think he will die, so the future will change for the better. The future they are featuring now is a total misdirection to get people to watch and wait to see what the real future will be like.
Boy, howdy, I hope that's correct. How about you?
I don't know. That seems a little complicated for Arrow. If this was The Flash or Legends, I might agree with you. But I don't know.
That's really mean. What did Arrow ever do to you? Jeez.
I'm just saying, they don't usually delve in the high concept sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm telling you, at the beginning of the year, Beth Schwartz, the new showrunner, said this is a fixed future. We're not going to have time travel shenanigans. So, but I desperately want that in my heart of hearts, that this gets changed somehow, and that we don't have siblings growing up apart and doom and gloom. And I just want a happy family. Oliver deserves it. Felicity deserves it. William and Maya deserve it. Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Speaking of The Flash, shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay. The episode on March 19th finds Iris and Barry learning a little bit more about what Nora's been up to. The episode is called Time Bomb. Spoiler, not really a spoiler. Nora is the time bomb. No, I don't know that.
No.
I mean, it makes sense.
I don't know. All right. It's about time.
Nora's a literal bomb. I don't know. I'm sorry. You were saying you think it's about time?
Yeah, it's about time. All right. You got to come clean. This is getting on too long. And I think hopefully once Barry and Iris know what they're up against, they'll be able to face it properly. But, we can only hope.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, my motto is talk to each other. Oh my God, talk to one another.
Yes.
That's all I ever want. So I agree. I'm still really frustrated with Nora that she knows Thawne is a bad guy. I mean, this has been well spelled out. So be like, oh, I've been working with him in the future. Is that not Coolio?
Really quick. We do have a question from @Molly2910 regarding Flash. She says, I'm seeing pictures of Godspeed on Flash on Twitter, and it says a stuntman will be playing the role. When this happened, does the stuntman get paid more because he has a role? I just like to know how things work in the background.
I would love to know that too, and I have no answers.
Yeah. I'm gonna say usually with these kinds of things, I mean, if he's a stuntman, he's definitely getting compensated. I can tell you that much. I think it generally depends on whether or not they have speaking lines.
I was going to say that you can always tell if somebody has a kind of prominent role in the background but doesn't speak. That's how they're saving money, because when you talk, it costs more, right?
Yes, and that's
because they get the SAG.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and exactly, like for example, on season 2 of Flash, when you had Zoom, that character, before they revealed who Zoom was, he was being voiced by Tony Todd. And but it was an actor as a stuntman in the suit. So the stuntman got paid, but Tony Todd spoke all of his lines, so it wasn't the same as if he was a screen actor.
And that would be different than I'm curious about that regarding like Doom Patrol, where you have Matt Bomer and Brendan Fraser voicing, but also appearing as actors. But when they're wrapped up, it's a stunt person or a body double. So that is an interesting way to compensate, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'm sure because those guys are working more, and they're working every day, they're probably getting paid more, than a regular stuntman, but not as much as if they were speaking those lines.
Yeah. And I feel like Walking Dead will have like hero zombies, where you have the featured zombies in zombie masses that get a little bit more attention and care with the makeup. And I would assume that would also reflect in pay if you're a hero zombie. So it's interesting. Any I don't know if that's a contract lawyer in Hollywood want to weigh in. Drop us
or just maybe someone in the extras of the stunt union. They could probably answer those questions. But interesting thing to think about.
It's a really great question. I don't. Kevin Lingenfelser is kind of we follow each other on Twitter, and he works behind the scenes on a couple of the shows Preacher and other shows, and he sometimes has insidery things. So maybe I'll hit him with hey, Kevin, what do you know about compensation structures? Anyway.
All right.
So speaking of Godspeed, oh my God, speaking of Godspeed, March 26th is when we are going to see that episode. It's episode 18. It does introduce that new speedster, August Hart, and it is Danielle Panabaker, aka Caitlin, her directorial debut.
Ooh.
So tune in for that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when actors get to direct TV episodes. You get some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, agreed. And it's always interesting to see what they do with their own characters when you have people who are writing or directing. Do they feature them a little bit more? Do they take more of a back seat while they're handling other duties? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, some great stuff. If you want to go back, I feel like the first show I remember this happening on was Star Trek: The Next Generation, when you had Jonathan Frakes and LeVar Burton and Patrick Stewart all directing episodes, and all doing really good jobs.
Well, Frakes directs a lot still, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. I think he directed episodes of both Orville and Star Trek Discovery this year. I think LeVar Burton has done a lot of directing outside of that too.
Did I see Brandon Braga wrote an episode of Orville for this season?
He's the showrunner on there. It's him and McFarlane's put it together to worked on it together.
Did he write an episode for Star Trek? Never mind. Ed, cut this out. I saw something on Twitter and didn't read the whole thing and was like, "Oh, was there a crossover?"
No. Brandon Braga is working on the Orville. He's not working on Discovery.
I'm so far behind on the Orville. Please don't tell Steph. I have to get caught up. All right,
it's okay. All right,
we have a lot of DC to keep up on.
We were talking about Flash. Daniel Painter-Baker's directing, and that's cool.
Yeah, and that's all I have for Flash.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to Legends of Tomorrow. So Jess McCallan will be back in season 5 as a regular. That's, of course, Ava Sharp. I think it's weird that needed to be an actual news story, but okay. That was the story I saw this morning. So we will have more Ava Sharp. She will be a regular. I hope that means good things for her and Sarah Lance's relationship, because I love them together.
Yes.
Okay. And then in general, let me address this big, rat's nest of rumors that I've been seeing for a couple of weeks now. I've been seeing a lot of stories from third tier comic book gossip sites saying Arrow and Legends are going to be canceled after next season, that the events of Crisis will lead to cancellation. This is an older show. That's an older show. They're going to come to an end. Supergirl, because of low ratings, is going to be canceled after next season. To me, this seems very much all speculation, some educated guessing when you look at the age of Arrow, for example, or when you look at what could happen in Crisis. But it has not been confirmed by anything that I've seen that looks like a reputable source. So there's just a lot of talk without a lot of I think, actionable information behind it. There's also rumors that Supergirl could be replaced by a Superman show starring Tyler Hoechlin. That Constantine could be brought back as a full-time show. So these are interesting things to think about and speculate about, but I just am not seeing anything super take it to the bank right now. So just, if we see anything that we think looks reasonably true, of course we'll talk about it. But right now it just seems like a lot of the snake eating its tail. Well, this site's reporting. Well, yeah, none of them are Deadline or Variety, so calm down.
Everything is unconfirmed.
There you go. Yeah.
Batwoman music.
We have casting for Kate Kane's stepmother, Catherine Hamilton Kane. So,
okay.
Kate's stepmom is Catherine. Sure.
Yeah, that's
Elizabeth Ann Weiss. Oh, go ahead.
That's just poor planning.
Well, Kate is a K and Catherine is a C, so clearly we can keep them separate.
Oh yeah, because you can read when people talk on TV shows.
Well, you can when it's Crazy Jane, that one character. But that's going to be played by Elizabeth Ann Weiss. Catherine Hamilton Kane is a defense contractor who finds Batwoman is bad for business. So, fun family drama.
Oh, okay.
All right, moving on. We have news for a show we haven't had news for in a while. Preacher.
Ooh.
Tyson Ritter will be a regular in the upcoming season.
No.
Which means buckle up for more Humperdoo.
Oh.
Ed is distressed, I think, as a viewer of the show. I'm distressed as a reader of the comic.
Mm-hmm.
I think Humperdoo is best in very small doses.
Yes. Yeah. Could he just be in a corner? Maybe we get a grunt from him every once in a while, but
quietly throwing his feces.
That
face. I think I joked in the finale that it'd be funny to see him in the background of every shot in every episode moving forward. And if that's what they're going to do, is just have Tyson Ritter in the makeup walking through the background, cool. That's funny. But I am I mean, I Preacher has not super let me down, especially not this past season. So I have optimism, but guys, Humperdew in very small doses, please. Okay. Moving on to, here's the DC Universe stuff that was promised, Titans.
Ooh.
We have casting for Superboy, aka Connor Kent. He will be played by Joshua Orpin, who is Australian, so he's attractive.
Okay.
And he's got credits in Australia that I didn't super recognize. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I hope he's angry. I like my Superboy angry.
Okay. Yeah. I think he's definitely got the right look. I think he has like almost no acting credits. Like even in Australia, I saw IMDb, he's got like 5 things on his page.
Even in Australia, where I'm pretty sure when you turn 18, you're given a walk-on role in like, what is it, Kelly's Daughters or McConnell's Daughters? There's some show that everybody has.
Just to be clear, they're not all that pretty. Those are just the ones they allow to leave the country. You know, it's.
I don't believe you. Every Australian is a gorgeous creature.
To our Australian listeners, we love you.
We apologize.
Yes.
I believe Aunt Molly's mom is Australian, so sorry about that.
Yes.
But seriously, McCullough's Daughters, what is that show? Tell me. Okay. Also cut this. This was some national stereotyping that I'm not proud of. All right. Production on season 2 of Titans reportedly has been pushed from March 20th to April 2nd as the start date. To me, that didn't seem like such a big deal. That's a couple weeks, whatever. But this comicbook.com article suggested that this could somehow delay Stargirl, which I don't 100% understand because Stargirl's supposed to premiere this year, and I think Titan season 2 is not until next year. So unless they're sharing, and I know off air you'd suggested like sharing production crew or
yeah, it might
something.
be they're sharing production staff or something like that. But I mean, Stargirl's supposed to come out in August, so I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I have seen some social media posts of the actor playing Donna Troy, the actor playing Jason Todd hitting the gym and getting, ramped up for season 2. So it's coming. Mm-hmm. Those poor actors are eating nothing but lean protein and like skipping leg days. So
cool.
Hats off to them. They work hard for us. Okay, moving on to Swamp Thing. We have some behind the scenes footage of, as opposed to just sort of the set, which I think we saw several weeks ago. This actually seems to have actors. It has ambient sound. It's a swamp. It's dark. It's atmospheric. It looks super cool. Ed, what'd you think?
Yeah, there's someone on a boat who's like reaching out his hand, and it looks like someone's watching him based on the camera movement, but we have no idea who anybody is. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But I mean, it looks atmospheric, it's spooky, and as you said, Ed, there's someone on a boat.
Okay.
And this next show we're going to talk about similar type story, Watchmen. We have some news footage for the upcoming HBO show in the big trailer for all the upcoming HBO projects that I think was put together to make me, Sara Netzley, feel really regretful for canceling HBO because everything looks amazing.
Yes.
So the new footage, we see Regina King's character. It looks like Regina King, Oscar winner, in a hoodie. She looks great. More importantly for me, we see Ozymandias eating a fancy cake by himself, to which I say, I admire you, sir. Eat that cake by yourself.
Is it a carrot cake?
It did not look like garbage cream cheese icing. It looked like real icing. So
okay.
I don't know what's underneath, but yeah. It was overly elaborate, as of course Ozymandias would demand. Oh, this cake? No, it needs to be taller with stranger colors. Make it better. Make it fancier. Put cocaine on it. I don't know.
All right.
I say that because I'm thinking about the Studio 54 scene, but anyway. All right. That's it for Watchmen. Find the trailer. It looks amazing.
Okay.
Okay. The last story, Ed, I'm going to let you take this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we have a show, a new show that we didn't know about, that evidently was announced in November that I didn't pick up on, called Sweet Tooth, and this is based on a Vertigo book, from about 10 years ago, written by Jeff Lemire, who's done a lot of popular work in superheroes. I love his run on Animal Man. He also wrote a long run on Green Arrow and Hawkeye for Marvel. Other people might know him for his independent work, like Essex County, which is sort of a slice of life story, and The Underwater Welder. This was a book he did for Vertigo that I think ran for about like 5 or 6 trade paperbacks. Probably like, I want to say something like 40 issues. And it is about a young boy who has antlers. He's a hybrid boy who's part deer, who grows up, who escapes a government facility in a dystopian world, and is running through the forest and finds a group of other hybrid children and an older man who's, and they try to protect each other from the people in black suits with guns that are hunting them. And it's about him trying to figure out who he is and whether or not, he can have a life. It's a very dark, weird story. And it's going to be on Hulu. It is, they've ordered a pilot. It has not been ordered a series. And the pilot, I believe, Sarah, you tell me, is shooting in May.
Yep, it's going to begin filming on May 21st in New Zealand. It's going to shoot through June 19th. Looks like they'll hop over to Vancouver for some shooting. So yeah, that's coming up. Get your antlers ready.
Yeah. Jeff Lemire has a very unique art style. He drew this as well as wrote it. And it's not photorealistic. It's a very, very different kind of cartoon style. So if you look up some images for that, there's some weird stuff that's abound in that, and I have no idea what that's going to look like live action. So
So apparently it's going to be written and directed by the team that does Hap and Leonard, which I have not watched, but I've heard good things about. And it's going to be produced by Team Downey, which is my birthday twin, Robert Downey Jr., and his wife, and Linda Moran. I'm sorry, his wife, Susan Downey. She has a name. So yeah, they're interesting people behind the camera. It sounds like interesting people on the origin of it. Bring on the casting news. Give us the deer boy. Tell us.
Yes. All right. So that's Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
All right. And that was all the news for this week, right?
Yeah, correct. We are now to the winner.
Yes, winners for the week. What's
and
your
we're
picks?
gonna have the same winner again, I think.
Oh, we are? Okay.
You think? I think so.
Well, you go first, I'll tell you.
My winner is puppets.
Oh, we don't have the same winner.
Wait, you didn't do... Okay, all right. Well, we had puppets. We had Nazi puppets. We had horrifying, scary puppets. All the puppets got punished, as puppets should be at the end of the episodes. Punish the puppets. So, yeah, puppets. My winner of the week. Creeping me out.
To be fair, Mr. Scarface is not a puppet. He's a dummy.
Talking inanimate things that flirt with the line between okay and not okay.
All right. My winner for the week is Troubled Pasts. And I thought in Gotham, Harvey had to take a long, hard look at what he did when he was a rookie and kind of come to terms with that and figure out, that he made a mistake and wanting to move on from that. And in Doom Patrol, you had Larry Traynor, trying to, who's constantly being reminded of his past and whether or not he can find any type of freedom in the present.
Yeah.
So
I like.
yours was much more fun than mine.
Mine was super obvious. Mine was literally in the episode description. But still. So are you familiar with the Uncanny Valley? It's
Yes.
Okay, mine is the Uncanny Valley. There you go. But no, yours, as always, takes a dive beneath the surface because you think harder than I do.
No, that's not true. That's not true. All right, Sarah, we did an episode.
We did an episode. We're back up to full strength next week, pretty much, aren't we?
Yep, six.
All
6
right.
is good.
All right.
6. So yeah, that's happening. All right. That's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD,
and I'm at Sara Netzley SaraNetzley.
Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam. Oh, Captain Marvel.
Shazam!